Welcome to this class. In this lesson, we are going to look at refugee and stateless persons. That's what we're going to look at in this lesson. So, in talk of the refugee, you know what a refugee is. Someone who stays in another country because of maybe political insecurity or other reasons in his or her original land or homeland. And then a stateless person is someone who is not legally having a country where he or she belongs to. That's what we are basically going to look at in this lesson. And by the end of this lesson, we'll be able to understand who a refugee is, and then some of the reasons why people are displaced, why they move from one country to another country. We'll also look at some of the rights of the refugee when they are now in the foreign country or in the host country. And then we'll also look at the responsibility of the host country. When I talk of host country, I'm talking about the country where the refugees are settling. So what's the responsibility of that country towards refugees, and then other main aspects related to the topic. And that's what we're going to look at in today's lesson. So refugees are vulnerable people. They face a lot of challenges across the world, and we cannot just talk of refugees in Africa. Even in Europe, we also have refugees. For us in South Sudan here, we have refugees from Sudan, and then we also have our own people, the South Sudanese, who are now in basically Uganda, others in Congo, others in Kenya, staying there as refugees. So you might be one of them, or your parents might have been as a refugee before. You really have understood the experience your parents went through, or the experience you went through when you were at the camp. Because refugee is supposed to be camp, and they are vulnerable to a lot of things, things to do with the access to health services, access to education. In fact, life in a refugee camp is not as easy as you think. Only the parents will understand, but for you, the children, you may really not understand how life in the refugee camp is. They face a lot of obstacles. Okay, someone who has been staying in his or her own home is now in camp, being taken care of by UN agencies, especially the WFP, the UNHCR, and other international NGOs that are concerned with the refugee affairs. So that's what we are referring to as refugee, and it is really understandable that they are supposed to be protected by the international organization or international law, and that's why we have UNHCR and WFP taking care of the refugees wherever they are settling, and that's because they really need to be protected. Otherwise, if the government and the international organization do not protect the refugees, then the state of life in these camps is going to be really terrible and will be losing. Okay, and then with that, we can now look at what exactly refugees is. So, according to the Refugee Convention of 1951, refugee is someone who has fled his or her country because of a number of factors. These factors can be political, it can be social, it can be economical, it can be environmental, etc. To go and look for services in another country. And that's what we're referring to as refugees. There are a lot of issues why people fled their country. The most common, especially for us here in South Sudan, is the political instability. But in some countries, it's not just a political instability. It could be a prosecution from the government. And this is whereby the government is having issues with the individuals or particular group of people. Then that's why they are running away from their country to look for safety in another country. So that's what we're referring to as refugees. Okay. Having looked at that, we can now look at what a stateless person is. Like I said from the beginning, that a stateless person is someone who does not have a legal country, doesn't know where he belongs. Okay, and that is the stateless person. You're not a South Sudanese, you're not a Ugandan, you are just there without legal identity. And that person is what we refer to as a stateless person. It's rare, by the way, to find such a people, but they are there. Okay, they are there, and as a citizenship students, you really need to understand that such incidences or such people they do exist. So when you have one person or a neighbor who doesn't know where he or she belongs, is what I'm talking about here, the stateless person. So having looked at what a refugee is, what a stateless person is, we can now look at some of the reasons why people move from their country to go and settle in a foreign land. The first reason is going to be political, and under political, we're looking at the civil wars. Like I explained from the start, that the reasons why we intend to move to another country, the reason why the South Sudanese are now in Uganda, in Camp, in Congo, Kenya, is because of the political instability. That's the major reason why they move. And when they go there, they're looking for safety. They fear that when they stay in an environment which is full of gunshot, they might lose their lives, and people don't want to die like that. And that's why we have to move. When we have to move from South Sudan to Uganda, to Congo, and then Kenya, because of the political instability in South Sudan. Okay, and then we also have persecution by government. This is when the government is specifically after some individuals or some particular group of people. They will also be forced to go to seek refuge or safety in a foreign land for the safety of their lives. So that's the government persecution. So this is particularly targeted to individuals. Not all people will be persecuted by the government. The government doesn't work like that. But there are some people, maybe some group of people who could be working or war against the government. You see, these are the kind of people the government is persecuting. Not all people. Okay, they don't come for you. Don't say that because Patrick has talked about persecution. They come for you. No one will come for you. Okay, they know the people they are persecuting. Sometimes it could also be religious conflict. In some countries, certain religion organizations are not allowed. So when the government realizes that you are practicing this kind of religion, they will come for you, and that's when you also seek refuge in a foreign country. So having looked at the political causes of displacement, we can now look at the social causes of displacement. We have ethnic religious persecution. This is about religious conflict. If there is a fight between maybe the Catholic and the Muslim, or the Christians and the Muslim, you find that one will decide to go and they reside in a foreign country as a refugee because of the political conflict. I mean, religious conflict. This is going on in the country. Okay, so this is the reason why people sometimes also go settle in a foreign land. So this is mostly affected. The people who are mostly affected are the minority group. For instance, if the Christians are fighting against the Muslims in the context of South Sudan, we know that South Sudan is a Christian-led country. Majority of the population in South Sudan, they are Christians. That means that if there is a religious misunderstanding between the Christians and the Muslims are the minority. That means that they are most likely going to flee or going to leave South Sudan to seek refuge in another country because they are the minority. But I'm not encouraging any misunderstanding between the two, Christians and the Muslims. No, I'm just giving an example for the purpose of understanding. Okay, I hope you're together. No more calling for any sort of instability in South Sudan. Then we also have gender-based violence. The gender-based violence, people normally focus on women being the victim. Sometimes also we the men, we can also be victims somewhere. Okay, but commonly we are referring to women, whereby they are subjected to a lot of torture by their husbands, or yes, basically by their husbands, and this will make them to really flee the country if not addressed properly. So that means that we really need to be campaigning the gender-based violence. We don't need to mistreat our women, our wives. It is so that they don't run away from us. This gender-based violence can be in forms of sexual exploitation, abuse. It is a gender-based violence. Okay, you want to be always having sex with your wife throughout the night, throughout the day, even when she is not feeling well, even when she is not ready for sex. You are just there. You are sleeping naked almost every time during the night. That is sexual exploitation. If you're doing that, your wife will run away from you. And I want to assure you that she will run away from you. Avoid doing that. I know you're still young. If you're watching this lecture, you're a student, you're not yet married. Maybe you have a girlfriend, but also don't exploit your girlfriend sexually. Okay? Your girlfriend will end up also running away from you. So you need to know when to have sex with your wife, you need to know when to have sex with your girlfriend, etc. Okay, so these are some of the reasons which make women to fled. And sometimes, if it is not addressed, the husband may end up beating the wife because the wife has denied him sex. And in the process of beating, of course, the wife will end up losing her life. This is going to be very bad. You have committed a very serious crime. At the same time, it is a sin when you kill a fellow human being. Okay. Then the environmental causes of displacement, we have natural disasters. In South Sudan, basically, when we talk about natural disasters, the most thing which comes in our mind is the floods. Okay, such incidents make people to really seek refuge in another country. One thing I forgot to tell you from the beginning is that we also have the IDPs, what we refer to as internal displaced person or people. That one is not a refugee, because a refugee, for you to gain a refugee status, it means that you have to move from your country to another country. That's when you become a refugee. But when you move from one state in South Sudan to another, for example, from Jongole to Central Equatoria, you are not a refugee, but you are internally displaced person, maybe because of floods in Jongole, or maybe because of political instability in your state. That's why you moved to another state. So you are referred to as internal displaced person, IDP. IDPs is different from refugee. With the refugee, you are supposed to move from your country to another country. That's the another country you are referred to, in foreign land, in order for you to get a refugee status. But with the IDPs, it's within the country. Okay, for example, someone from Jonglei can come and stay in Juba because of the floods, because of political insecurity in the area. And that's what we are referred to as IDPs, internally displaced person. Okay, so having looked at the causes of displacement, we looked at the political, social, and environmental. We can now look at the rights of refugees under international law. Remember, refugees are recognized globally. The international organizations and UN agencies like UN, Shara, and the WFP, they always help refugees whenever crises arise. Okay, we have one of the rights is non-refoulement. Non-refoulement means the refugee is not supposed to return to their original country if the situation there has not been addressed. For instance, people who have already fled South Sudan to Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, rather Congo, they cannot come back to South Sudan because the international community thinks that still the issue in the South Sudan government is not yet addressed, the insecurity is not yet addressed. So the process of returning the refugees back to their original country for resettlement is what we refer to as repatriation. Okay, repatriation is the process where the government of South Sudan and the UN agencies and Uganda all agree that, okay, now the refugees should be brought back to their country and they settle their ancestral land. That's when they'll be coming back home. That we are referring to that as repatriation. But for now, we have not yet reached there. And the right is they will remain wherever they are. However, some individuals will feel like, no, I want to go back to South Sudan. When such person decides to come back to South Sudan, it's not what we are referring to as repatriation. Okay? That's the individual initiative. It's not repatriation. Okay? A repatriation is when the government, the UN agencies are the one transporting them back to the country. Then we have right to seek asylum. Asylum is like safety in another country because of the situation you are facing in your country. So every refugee has the right to apply for asylum. For example, those in Uganda, they can apply for asylum there so that Uganda can grant for them the permission to stay there for the safety and protection of their lives in that country. And then we have the right to work and education. A refugee is supposed to work. Remember, they are humans. Okay, they are humans. They have needs. They have feelings. They need to eat. They need to go to school. And that's why if you go to refugee camp, you find very many NGOs there. They provide in schools services, provide healthcare services. Others are even employed as enumerator, and they call them is it block leaders, something like that. Okay, when the food is brought, we have people who are employed to make sure that they oversee the distribution exercise. That is the employment. So every refugee has the right to be employed in the country where he also is residing for his or her life. Then we have access to healthcare and social service. I've already explained that. The hospital is there for them, and even water collection point, very clean water will be provided to them to drink, and even sometimes the roads are providing lights, etc., to make sure that the standard of living is not all that bad. Okay, and that's what we refer to as healthcare and social services as a right of refugee. And this is practically happening when you go to the camps. You find that all these things we are talking about here, they are happening in the refugee camps. So having looked at the rights of refugees, we can now focus on the right of the stateless person. Remember, we say that the stateless person is someone who does not have a legal country or legal recognition. They don't know whether he's a Ugandan, he doesn't know which country he comes from. We're going to look at the right of such a person. The first right is the legal identity. Okay? They need to be given a country. They need to be recognized as a South Sudanese. They need to be recognized as a Ugandan etc. That's what we are referred to as legal identity. Of course, it is awkward. It's weird for you not to have a legal country. What could be the problem? Like I said from the start, such cases are rare, but they are in existence. Okay. Then we have naturalization opportunities. This is whereby you can grant the legal status to such a person, depending on the fact that the person has been in your country for more than maybe 5-10 years. That person should be given the legal status. If the person I'm talking about here, this stateless person I'm talking about here is in South Sudan, then the government of South Sudan should grant that person the legal right to be a South Sudanese. Okay? Instead of just staying like that, you don't know where you come from. So these are some of the legal rights of the stateless person. So having looked at that, we can now look at the responsibility of the host nation. So when we talk of the host nation, we are referring to a country where refugees are residing. Okay? For example, Uganda, Congo, and Kenya. We have some Sudanese who are staying there as refugees. So we are looking at the rights or the responsibilities of Ugandan government towards refugees there. So we are starting with the legal humanitarian protection. That's the first right or the first responsibility of the Ugandan government. So under that, they need to grant asylum. Asylum just like allowing people who are being persecuted by the government or allowing refugees to be staying there for the safety of their lives and the protection. And no one should be forcing them to come back in the country when the situation is not yet normalized. Okay. Then we have providing refugee status. When we talk of the refugee status, it's all about registration and issuing of ID. All the refugees in Uganda or in every place where they are given IDs. Okay, they have that refugee status. So, and that's a very important document, the refugee status. It can help you to get some opportunities if it's all about a scholarship or any other funds or donation from international organizations. Okay, they might ask for refugee status or the refugee ID card from you in order to benefit from such a scholarship. So it is the responsibility of Uganda to make sure that that status is granted to you. You have the refugee card to identify that yes, you are a refugee residing in Uganda. Then we have ensuring safety and security. That's another right or another responsibility of the host nation. Uganda has to make sure that all the refugees stay in the camp, they are safe. Okay, they are safe. That is the role or the responsibility of the Ugandan government. If anything happens to the refugees staying in Uganda or in Congo, the UN, the South Sudan government will be asking Uganda how that happened, because the people are now within the territory of Uganda. South Sudan cannot send army or the police to go and protect their citizens from Uganda. That will not happen. The security and safety is now in the hands of the Ugandan government and also the Congolese government as far as the safety of the refugees are concerned. So the next one is social and economic integration. We're talking about the roles of the host nation, providing basic needs. These basic needs can be housing facilities, can be healthcare, can be education, water, etc. It has to be provided by the host nation. That's why I find that whenever refugees come like this, the government always designate a site, what they call a refugee site or camp, to make sure that the refugees are accommodated there. So in the refugee camp, you don't find the host people or the locals there. You only find the refugees who are staying in the camp. So that's the responsibility of the host nation or the host country. Then education and employment opportunities, we already looked at that. The refugees should be given education. They should be given a simple work to do in order to push their lives, in order to live a reasonable life while they are in the camp. So that means that the host nation should not restrict refugees from participating in any economic activities or participating in education, etc. So that's what we're referring to as the economic integration or right of refugees to be provided by the host nation. And then you also have freedom of movement. So the freedom of movement is when the refugees can be moved freely, okay? You're in a camp, but you can still come to the city. You can still come to the district. That's how Uganda system is arranged. So, okay? The district, the sub-country, etc. They can be moving from one place to the other. So they should not be packed in a camp. Remember, they are not prisoners. Okay? They are not prisoners. But if you just keep them in one place, it means that you are making them feel as if they are prisoners. Yet, these are not prisoners. They are just people who are seeking safety in their camp. So they can be allowed to move freely within the country. So these are some of the responsibilities of the host nation or the host country. So with that, we have come to the end of this presentation.